We are just 2 days away from the next chapter, the final presidential debate in Las Vegas, moderated by Fox News Sunday anchor Chris Wallace. Nevada is shaping up to be a very important battleground state this year. Hillary Clinton still has the edge in the latest polls, but leads Donald Trump by less than 3 points. Nevada has backed the winner in every presidential election except one since 1912. Joining me now is Megan Messerly, a political reporter for the Las Vegas Sun. Megan, great to have you on the program.
Thanks so much, Jenna.
We were speaking with Larry Sabato a few weeks ago, and one of the things he pointed out about the state of Nevada is that he feels that there's a significant portion of voters, specifically Hispanic voters, that are underrepresented in the polling. I'm just curious, based on your reporting, anecdotally, what you're hearing from people on the streets, what does the race look like in the state of Nevada?
Right, and traditionally polling in Nevada has always been extremely difficult. Polls are very unreliable here. Nevada has a very diverse population, but very transient, so that makes polling extremely difficult to do here. It's entirely possible that the Hispanic population is underrepresented in those polls, especially thinking about those Hispanic voters who may turn out specifically to vote against Trump, concerned about some of his rhetoric throughout the election cycle. So it's hard to tell how accurate those polls are. They've sort of shown Hillary and Donald Trump both sort of neck and neck as of late. And
what's your experience as a journalist on the ground there? Is that what you see and hear on a regular basis, that it's a very, very close race?
Definitely. There are a lot of undecided voters. Certainly there's a lot of people who are firmly for Hillary Clinton or firmly for Donald Trump, but you'd actually be surprised about the number of undecided voters that you run into who really aren't sure who they're voting for, maybe not because they don't have any opinion on Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump, but because they're sort of concerned with both candidates and don't really know who they should vote for, whether they should just stay home for the polls, whether they should vote for Gary Johnson or another option. But at the same time, go to any, Hillary Clinton event or any Donald Trump event, and you'll see, throngs of fervent supporters, who are firmly committed. So I do think it'll be a close race. There's a lot of, passion on both sides.
It's really interesting to hear about the undecided voters that still haven't made up their minds yet. And so that's something we're going to be considering a great deal when it comes to presidential politics. But I also want to ask you a little bit about the Senate races, because Harry Reid is retiring. Our viewers will no longer see or hear from Harry Reid in the way that we normally do. I'm sure he will still be around. But what does that Senate race look like? Who are the main players, and what does it look like as far as maybe not polling, but again, going back to what your sense is on the street of who has the upper hand, which party?
I mean, again, in the Senate race, it's going to be a really close one. It's sort of down to the wire. So it's between Democrat Catherine Cortez Masto, who's a former Nevada Attorney General, and Republican Joe Heck, a current congressman representing Nevada's 3rd District. Again, polling here has shown them very close. Actually, a CNN poll from this morning did show Cortez Masto up by about 7 points above Heck among likely voters. But again, on the ground, there's a lot of people who like Joe Heck. He's won his district, which went for Obama in 2008, went for Obama in 2012, and his district is pretty evenly split between Democrat and Republican voters, and yet he's managed to win his re-elections there. So, Joe Heck is a well-liked guy here. Cortez Masto as well.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm just curious, just as far as we talked about the down ballot, what's going on down ballot a lot, and I'm also curious about your thoughts on that. Does it seem that presidential politics is really having an impact down ballot, or would you not be surprised to see some split votes where, one party would get the vote for president, one party would get the vote for Senate?
I wouldn't be surprised to see some Clinton, Heck, split ballot voters. I doubt that there would be any, Donald Trump, Cortez Masto voters, but you never know. There could be someone out there. But the big thing that remains to be seen is how Joe Heck walking back his support of Donald Trump, what kind of an impact that has on, fervent Donald Trump supporters, whether they decide not to vote for Heck, or whether at the end of the day that does bring in some of the more moderate, traditional Republican voters for Heck. Polling's sort of been split on that. One poll showed, 34% of likely voters said, Heck withdrawing his support would make them less likely to vote for Heck. There's another poll that shows 14%, only 14% that would make them less likely to vote for Heck. So it sort of remains to be seen what him sort of walking back his support, saying, he can't support Donald Trump anymore after, the recent comments he made. Sure. We don't know how that's going to play out yet, but that could end up being one of the deciding factors in the race.
We'll see, too, if he changes in the next several weeks as well. Megan, great to have your insight. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much.